Greetings, friends. Is a river cruise on your travel bucket list? Should it be on your travel bucket list? Well, stay tuned to get the answers to any of your burning questions about this fabulous approach to exploring the world. And folks, I am so excited this evening and glad that you could join us for another episode of Let's Talk Travel. We are just delighted that you're out there, and we are equally delighted to be welcoming this evening one of our best partners in the industry. German Jones is joining us from Uniworld River Cruises, and we are so appreciative of you taking the time to join us this evening, German. And I was glad to see you at the Signature Conference a couple of months ago. It was good to see you in person there.
Yes. Great to see you as well, Pat. Thank you so much for having me.
So, folks, I'm just really so glad to have German on board. He is a strategic account manager with Uniworld, and I know you're going to enjoy him, and you're going to be glad that you tuned in this evening. So we're just going to start off, German. How I usually start this is just our viewers like to get to know you a little bit. Could you tell us just a little bit about your background and how you made your way into the travel industry and eventually at Uniworld?
Okay. Yep. Sure. I'd love to. So I started in travel about 18 years ago in 2004, and started working with Carnival Cruise Lines actually, and was there for many years, and just started gaining experience and just really loved the travel industry. And from there, I went over to corporate traveler management, did that for a couple of years, and then transitioned to Insight Vacations. And so for those of you who don't know, Insight Vacations, the sister brand to Uniworld. And so I worked there for a couple of years. And then when an opening came about for Uniworld, I jumped on it and have been with Uniworld, started in 2019 and have been with them ever since. So really love it here.
Wow, you just jumped in at the right time. You got in pre-pandemic there.
Yep.
And you're still there. That is wonderful, wonderful. I know this question may be a little bit of a challenge because there's so much you could share. You may have to give us a condensed version, but could you do your best to give us a kind of a condensed overview of the Uniworld travel experience and outline maybe an array of destinations that you guys serve?
Sure. So as far as Uniworld, we've been around for 47 years now. So obviously a vast experience, in conducting these beautiful cruises and trips all together, because there are some of our trips aren't just it's not just the cruise portion, but there's land portions as well. And yeah, they're absolutely amazing. And what we're one of the highlights that we're really well known for is our inclusions. So for example, we have all gratuities are going to be included, all airport transfers, whether guests take air through us or not. They'll be included, butler service in every suite throughout Europe, 24-hour room service, ship-wide Wi-Fi, local entertainment, delicious cuisine, unlimited beverages, and that's alcoholic and non-alcoholic. So it's really just amazing the the number of inclusions we do offer, and we have an amazing high staff to guest ratio. Can't say enough about our service members on board Uniworld, or how great they provide service for our guests. And the decor is also something that's that we're very well known for. All of the ships on Uniworld are completely different than each other. So no two ships are alike, and we don't even have this two suites that are alike as well within the same ship. So it's very original, very beautiful decor, and the decor matches the destination that we're visiting. So guests not only experience the destination, but they also really immerse themselves in the trip with the just being on board the ship itself. So those are just some of the beautiful features that we have on Uniworld. And as far as itineraries, we're just all throughout Europe. So just many different parts of Europe. So we really can just find something for everybody, just depending on where they plan to travel to.
That is fabulous, and you kind of hinted at this. It's kind of included in your answer to my previous question, but uh, what differentiates Uniworld from the other river cruise providers in the industry? Any key differences that you'd point out?
Sure, sure. So Uniworld, of course, is on the luxury level. So for those guests that really just want to come enjoy themselves, have that luxurious experience, have the staff members, as I mentioned before, are amazing. So that really, make sure to pamper guests and just be there, to help them out with it, anything possible. To make sure that they're just having an incredible time on board. Inclusions, as I mentioned, it's we're mostly all inclusive. Where other river cruise lines, you'll be charged for many different things. And then decor. The decor I also mentioned as well. It's just amazing how every ship is completely different, and the decor matches the destination to really provide that immersive experience. Another thing is, as far as the ships themselves, we spend about 33% more than our competitors do on the ships, just to make sure that they look absolutely beautiful and just ready for whoever joins us on board Uniworld. Excuse me.
Well, I can tell you, German, that our clients absolutely rave about their Uniworld experience. I've never had anyone
Mhm.
we've booked on any of your itineraries that didn't come back just absolutely enthralled with their experience. One of the other differences that I think we could point out to people is the fact that you guys have fewer people on board your vessels than many of the other carriers. And I think that's a key differentiator as well. There's vessels are pretty much the same size. They've got to fit through the same locks.
Yes,
So go
that
ahead.
is absolutely correct, Pat, and thank you for bringing that up. Yes, as far as the average passengers aboard Uniworld, it's about 115 passengers is the average per trip, and so we do like to say, as far as our name, if you ever see it like on our website, anything like that, the full name is Uniworld Boutique River Cruises. And we like to say that boutique because we definitely don't want to get to some of these very, very big ships, that carry 175, 200 passengers. We're not going in that direction at all. We like to keep that boutique feel, and just so it's a little bit more intimate for our guests, and just be able to provide a little bit better service. So it's not as big lines and things like that. So that's a very key point you just mentioned. Yes, we do have smaller sizes as far as the number of passengers.
Yeah, and when you're talking, some of these people, some of the providers have almost twice as many people on board, and that really impacts the experience.
That's
Uh,
correct. Mhm.
I want to point to turn our attention now, German, if we can. We're focused on Europe for the month of August. So I thought we'd just kind of feature a couple of your itineraries. And I mean, Europe covers a lot of territories, a lot of countries, a lot of cultures. Uh, what are a couple of the more popular itineraries with your clients?
All right. So one of them being the Milan and Venice is really nice. That's one of the big ones. That's a 10-day trip where basically you'll be starting in Milan. You have a couple nights there and do all sorts of great stuff. Be able to do a Milan Highlight City tour. And on that tour, you'll be able to see Da Vinci's Revolutionary, The Last Supper mural. So basically, you'll do some beautiful things. I didn't mention this earlier, but most excursions, and I should have, most excursions on Uniworld are going to be included as well. So there are what's called the Masterpiece Collection, which is basically it's like 1 to 2 excursions per trip. That would be for an additional charge, but most of the standard excursions will be included. So
And that's, you said 1 or 2 per trip, not per stop, per port call. So for the most part, all of the excursions are also included.
That's absolutely correct. Yes. So most excursions are going to be included. It's just one or two per trip. That would be for an additional charge if guests wanted to do that. But yeah, most are included. And then going back to what I was mentioning as far as the trips. So we do have that Milan and Venice, and what we have the with the Gems of Northern Italy. And once you finish that Milan portion, you're transferred over to Venice, where we'll travel around the Venice Lagoon. So of course we're going to visit St. Mark's Basilica right there in St. Mark's Square. We'll visit Doge's Palace as well, and speaking of excursions, these are things that we'll be doing after hours. That's closed to the general public, and those are part of the included excursions as well. So guests will not only be able to. It's not only included, but you're also going to be able to experience it after hours when it's closed to the general public. Which is really, really neat. You have that intimate setting, and that's just part of the luxury experience that we like to offer on Uniworld. And then from Venice, we'll travel throughout some of the different islands surrounding the Venice Lagoon, and basically it's just a beautiful experience for guests who'd like to travel throughout Venice in river cruise rather than just taking like a regular tour or vacation there.
And I think this might be just kind of an eye opener for our listeners, because uh, it's not the first destination you might think of when you think river cruise. Uh, and here, yet you can do this with Uniworld in beautiful, beautiful style, and hit some of these places that sometimes it's not so easy to get to. So fabulous way to see this particular area of Italy. I love that.
Yes, that's correct, and we're the only ones there too. So, and I'm not sure. Well, I'm sure you were aware, I should say, actually, because I think everybody heard about it. But the big ships, a couple years ago, the big ships, the big ocean liners, weren't allowed to get, or no longer allowed to get too close into that area anymore. And we dock right there in St. Mark's Square, which is amazing. So we have that, that exclusive area, and it's just, it's just something that's just absolutely beautiful, and we're very, very, very proud of, very excited about that. That we're the only ones, that dock right in that area.
And I think this, folks, when you're listening, a river cruise is such a civilized, convenient, just an amazing way to explore uh, all of the interior of Europe, because you're right there in the middle of everything. You're reaching places that a typical an ocean going cruise can't take you, and yet you're unpacking once. It has all of the convenience of a cruise vacation, but yet with a total spin, you are right there in the middle of these inland cities and what on these inland waterways. It is an incredibly convenient and comfortable way to see these parts of Europe.
Yep.
What
That
other itinerary would you like to talk about, German?
so another one that's very popular right now as well. It's an 8-day trip. It's castles along the Rhine, and of course, when people think river cruising, they think of the Danube and the Rhine rivers. Absolutely, popular for traveling throughout that area. And the castles along the Rhine trip is just it's amazing. It's a trip that can start in either Basel and end in Amsterdam, or do it in reverse and start in Amsterdam, end in Basel. So it's a really nice trip, but you will be sailing throughout the Rhine River. And just to give you an example, so like if you're starting in Amsterdam, you're going to be heading south and traveling throughout the Rhine. You're going to stop in Cologne, Germany, Beauvard, in a couple places throughout Germany, Strasbourg, France, which is very beautiful, and then end in Basel in Switzerland. So it's a really nice way to experience all these countries. Making sure to hit some of these major cities, see very beautiful UNESCO heritage sites. And yeah, so that's something that's another trip that's very, very popular for us.
That's great. And you have some options for people who don't, might want to do something a little more adventurous than just uh, a walking tour of whatever town you're visiting, people have options for a little to be a little more active in a lot of these places, right?
Yes, yes, that's absolutely true. So, so every cruise on the first night of the cruise, the hotel manager will go over the excursions that we offer, and guests can sign up for however many they'd like, and whichever one really catches their eye and they prefer to do. So, we do have just general walking tours. We have things that are a little bit more exciting. We have even bike tours, museum tours. I mean, it's so many different things, and they vary. They definitely vary from trip to trip. So, the best way to to kind of get an idea as to where you'd be traveling to and things like that is just when you're on the website looking at a specific itinerary, you can just look at the click on the day to day, and it gives you a nice little overview as to what's going to be included, like what are the different options and things like that. And so yes, we do have quite a variety of excursions, some being a little bit more leisure, some being a little bit more active, but it definitely it definitely varies, and guests can choose them just based on what they feel comfortable and what catches their interest.
Great. I've got to ask this. I ask everybody who, but I've got to know, how's the food on Uniworld?
Oh, absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Like you said earlier, that you never hear complaints about people that travel on Uniworld, but on top of that, you hear just rave reviews about many different things. The staff members, the decor, things like that, and food is absolutely one of the things at the top of that list as well. So I mentioned earlier in the discussion that we like to mimic the decor based on the destination. Well, we also like to make sure that the food that we serve is also something that's from the area that we're visiting. So just to make sure you all have that authentic experience and just really immersive experience. And then of course for those guests that just are a little bit weary of trying something new or anything like that, of course we do have just the general American menu and meals as well, but definitely try some of the some of the different foods pertaining to these destinations, because it's just the chefs on board are just amazing. They do such a great job. They even I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but when visiting the different destinations, the chefs will disembark and go to the local farmers markets to pick up freshly sourced produce, ingredients, things like that, which they'll use to cook on board. So it's just really delicious
So
food on board.
fresh, seasonal, local, all of those words. And folks, that's become such a kind of a priority for so many travelers. They want that authentic experience of trying the regional cuisine and regional wines and things like that. And Uniworld gives you that in your package. So another good reason to select Uniworld when you want to visit the interior of Europe. Uh, I got to ask you, German, do you ever get a chance to get out and travel about a little bit? Any ships or cities that are favorites of yours?
Yes. Well, I mean, they all have their distinction as far as like the ships. I've been on quite a few. So just to give you an example, like River Queen is a classic of ours. Really enjoy that ship. The Antoinette and the Beatrice are both very beautiful. Some of the ships, you'll notice they have an SS in front of them. That means that they're categorized as super ships. So those tend to be a little bit larger than some of the other ones. So just so you all know some of the differences there. The super ships are up to 149 guests. Those are the ones that are a little bit bigger, and that's the maximum that will go as far as number of passengers. But yes, the Antoinette, the Beatrice is beautiful. The Joie de Vivre. I mean, it's the Maria Theresa. It's just I can go on and on. They all have distinct features. As I've mentioned, they're all very different. but just very beautiful in decor. And you can take a look, just on our website at the different ships and see the decor for each one, and that's how you can tell, what the you can see some of the differences and see how beautiful they are.
They're just gracious, elegant ships to be on board. I can tell you, folks. You will feel like you have stepped into the country, and you really you feel immersed from the time you step aboard one of these vessels. We could be here for hours talking about Uniworld and all that you offer. One of the things that helps our clients a lot is, can you give us a little bit of an overview of the target client, who typically travels aboard Uniworld, and any particular characteristics that could help our viewers determine that this would be a great match for them?
Sure. Well, I mean, it really comes down to, I've mentioned that it is that luxury experience aboard Uniworld, but it's also very, like the dress code on board is, I mean, it's pretty, the average person dresses like a country club casual. It's nothing that that you have to dress, like in a suit and tie or anything like that. But as far as like the target clients, I mean, it's just anyone who really wants to enjoy a luxurious experience, as far as, making sure that that you have, very, very good staff members on board taking care of their needs, making sure that they really want to, to see, to be on a ship that's visually stunning, have, most of their inclusions are all together, where, rather than getting like one big bill at the end of the trip, and having, just many different ancillary charges, things like that. So it's really just, that the target client is anyone who wants to experience a river cruise and a luxury experience at its finest.
Excellent, excellent.
Mhm.
Wondering, do you have any space available for itineraries in Europe for later this year? Is there any space available? And what about 2023? How are things looking?
Sure, sure. So as far as 2022, yes, we do still have space available, and yeah, but it is limited. Actually, I just had a conversation earlier. Someone asking me about our Christmas markets trips, which we do still have, but not in the category that she was looking for, because of course, space is still limited. So 2022, we do still have availability for certain itineraries in Q3 and Q4, and then as far as 2023, that one we're actually selling ahead of pace. We're on record pace for for future year sailings. So which is very good. Obviously with COVID, things slowed down a lot, but now they've really picked back up. So 2023 is filling pretty quickly. So just the sooner that guests can go ahead and take a look and decide on an itinerary, the better. The neat thing I do want to mention about our deposit is that, let's say you're looking at a cruise that's in next summer, for example. You can put down the deposit. It's a 10% deposit, and it's refundable for everything except a $200 per person basically fee, but that's held as a future cruise credit if you cancel outside of 4 months of sailing. So if it's something that you're interested in traveling in, but you're just not 100% sure, well, just know that you could go ahead, just put the 10% deposit, and as long as you cancel outside of 4 months of the sailing, it's only a $200 per person voucher that we'll give you, and you don't even lose the 200 per person. You just apply that to any future Uniworld cruise within 5 years. So it's a really neat, flexible program that we offer on Uniworld, and for those guests that aren't 100% sure ready, that they're ready to commit, but are looking at some options for next year.
Very good. And folks, I can tell you that things are going crazy for 2023. So if you want to do a river cruise with Uniworld for 2023, do get your deposits down. That's not any manufactured urgency. That's just telling you the facts that things are booking way. I mean, space is filling. So it's amazing me when I go in to try to find space. Sometimes how it's so much of it is already sold out. Um, so things are pretty fluid right now, to say the least, in the travel industry. German, could you? I know they're changing, and it could totally change. It just on a dime here, but what are the current protocols for traveling with Uniworld in Europe these days? Testing, vaccination, masks, things like that.
As far as traveling on Uniworld for 2022, all guests do have to be vaccinated, and that's the first and second shot and or vaccine. The For 2023, we haven't issued a concrete statement yet. That's still to be determined. I guess it's just based on what we see as far as COVID moving forward. As you mentioned, yes, things are fluid, so that's why 2023 hasn't been solidified yet as far as what's going to be required. And regarding the like mask mandates and testing, things like that, Uniworld doesn't require testing. It's based on the country that we're visiting. So, for example, if France, let's say, has implemented a mask mandate, and we're traveling, one of our we have 3 ships in France, we will go ahead and adhere to that policy if while we're in France, just basically go based on whatever the country, destination that we're visiting, has in place. But testing is not required. But vaccinations are required for 2022, and we have yet to see for 2023.
Thank you so much. Just as a summary, German, would you just kind of summarize things for our listeners? Could you just give us 3 reasons why our viewers should consider booking a Uniworld European river cruise for their next vacation getaway?
Okay. Yeah. So if I had to pick only 3, I would say, well, number one, I have to go with the inclusions. I think I've mentioned it a few times already. Just really nice and very seamless that you'll be able to go on board, and everything's pretty much included. So you really won't have to worry about ancillary charges, have a big bill at the end of your cruise, things like that. I didn't even mention this earlier, but I think I did. I mentioned alcoholic beverages, but that's throughout the trip. They're going to be included, not not just like during dinner or lunch. The only time it's like that is with our trip in Europe. So, our trip in Egypt. Every other itinerary, alcoholic beverages are included throughout the trip, so that won't be an additional charge. So really, the inclusions is one of the things I always like to harp on. Also, the decor is absolutely beautiful. I've mentioned that as well, with just the beautiful ships that we offer, the great service that our staff members provide. We have an excellent staff to guest ratio, so it's really just really have that personalized service. So those are just some of the things I would mention as far as why it would be amazing to take a Uniworld cruise.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, German. And folks, let me just tell you, from years of doing this, and travelers who have come back raving about their experience, nobody is ever disappointed when they sail with Uniworld. It is always 5-star, and you come home with lifetime memories, and you never you get your value, and you come home very happy from one of their cruise itineraries. And as always, thank you to those of you who've tuned in this evening. We appreciate you. And as always, we're going to have our drawing this evening for our live listeners only. Those of you, I'm sorry if you're catching us on an instant replay. But this evening, we're going to do another time, we're going to do our coaster giveaway. These are the stone coasters, travel themed coasters. Great thing for to have at your home and to use and help you dream about that next trip. So if you are listening, I want you to put Uniworld. You can see it right there over Germa's head, Uniworld, in the comments section right now. And those of you who are listening live will have an opportunity to be our big winner for our giveaway this evening. Thanks again to everybody. And special thanks to you, German. We so appreciate your taking time to chat with us this evening.
My pleasure, Pat. My pleasure. We definitely enjoy working with you. We enjoy the partnership with Dancing Moon Travel, and I did just want to mention the because I completely forgot that we currently have great promotions going on
Yes.
Uniworld. Yep, we have Cruise Back into Travel and a friends and family promotion, which really decrease the rates on the trip, so you can always have your guest call you for a quote. And on top of that, of course, they're going to be eligible for shipboard credit of $150 per person that you can go ahead and allocate for them. And then for the stuff that they would use it for, because I think we've mentioned a few times, it's mostly all inclusive. You could use that 150 per person shipboard credit toward things like a spa treatment or one of those masterpiece collection excursions that I mentioned. So yep. Just wanted to make sure I
That is great.
went over that.
And that's per person, not per stateroom.
That's correct. 150 per person. Yep.
That goes a long way on Uniworld.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
folks. Thank you so much. Thanks again, German. We so appreciate you and we love Uniworld. Thanks, everybody. And join us again next time for another episode of Let's Talk Travel. Bye, everybody.